I'm gonna live stream, okay?
Oh yeah, yeah,
To
sure
my
thing.
Facebook. Yeah. So, um, I guess it's not always like in a more expensive environment. People, want to make the most out of their money, but also like people who pay you really not a lot also can expect a lot, you know?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I
what I
have a
mentioned.
similar thing too. Also, like I didn't find out, but my property got flooded too by a sink fell off the the surface of the, like a countertop, and then there's a
Yeah, the
sink. I don't know
vanity.
what they do, but they totally like make the sink drop into the cabinet. So it was flooded, but I didn't know until this is like um a Section 8 tenant who
Ah,
have a case
yeah.
worker, I don't know, have some mental health issue or whatever, I don't know. And then the case worker visit and then tell me that, oh, you need to fix the sink. I was like, nobody told me. And because flooded for many days before, our cabinet like start to like,
Mold.
swollen up. Also the
Hmm.
um it's all brand new cabinet, and it's now, have thick, like I don't know, it's just really bad. And then now I'm
Yeah.
saying that, hey, you have to leave. I, I, I can't have you without you communicate about what happened inside the property, and I cannot fix it on the right time.
Hmm.
And now it costs way more to fix it.
Right, right. No, you're absolutely right. So I do or I have worked with a few Section 8s. One
Yeah.
was a Section 8 that was long distance.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily for me, that Section 8 was actually very good. Um, but locally here in San Diego, I do have two Section 8s. One I
Mm-hmm.
didn't even know was Section 8 because I inherited this property with this tenant already in there. So
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really get a background on how she was getting her money. So apparently now down the road, I found out she was Section 8, and it's totally fine. She's a good tenant. But I do have another one that's Section 8. Apparently she was homeless for a while, and the
Yeah.
state had, you're right. And in her application, she's never mentioned Section 8.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason I found out is when getting her deposit, I had to work with the city or a nonprofit organization. That's when that stuff start to come up. But yes, you're absolutely right. So when it comes to Section 8, sometimes they're a little bit afraid or hesitant on how their previous landlords used
Yeah.
to treat them or react to a situation. So um, yeah, I have some experience in there. You just come in with the positive attitude and just try to find the silver lining somewhere.
But some really good. I mean, some Section 8 tenants really good. They always pay on time, keep the property nicely, and I have friends that have Section 8 tenant for like 20 years, no problem.
Hmm.
Uh, it's just, I think it's just the kind of person, who they are. Um, are they entitled or not? Also, are they really good at communication, or um, yeah, or they just going through bad time and their bad life should affect you as a landlord.
Right, right, right. But it's fine. I've worked with them. Uh, uh, one of my biggest rentals is a fourplex. It's not in the best neighborhood. I would say it's probably like D class neighborhood, with D class property. Um, so I already accepted that the type of tenants I'm gonna have are,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm lucky, C class or, have that type of mentality and stuff like that. But most of my tenants are Actually, the two Section 8s are
Mm-hmm.
single uh, family, single parent family, with the
Mm-hmm.
mom being the head of the family.
Mm-hmm.
So normally they're not accustomed to simple fixes.
Mm-hmm. They ask
I get called,
everything they ask, right?
yeah, I get calls all the time.
Oh,
But after a while, little by little, they start to realize some of the stuff they call me for are actually very easy. So yeah, it's just patience, and
yeah,
hopefully, when you show them good relation, they'll hopefully stay there for a long time and pay
yeah,
on time.
yeah. That's important. Yeah. So for the you say that you're moving, right? Are
Oh,
you
that
moving? Are you still moving?
moving to a different location?
Yeah. So you
Oh,
moved
no, no, no.
before you moved from Hawaii to San Diego, right?
Ah,
And then
yes, yes, yes. I'm actually originally from Hawaii, and then I moved here to San Diego. Doesn't look like I'm moving from San Diego. Family and the wife loves it here too much, so we're just gonna have to try to settle in.
mm-hmm, you're gonna settle here. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
San Diego is amazing. It's just expensive because there's no land there.
yeah, it's very expensive. So I actually do see a lot of opportunity though. So a lot of people shy away from landlording. Landlording is not easy. I can also admit that. Landlording isn't easy, so a lot of people shy away from it. They don't want to get into it. But
Yeah,
because San Diego is so expensive, there are already so many legislations that allow multifamily residences to be built on
really?
single family areas.
Like how many
So,
units can you build?
so if a city opts into it, it's a Senate Bill 10. They call it SB 10.
SB10.
Um, yes, they call it SB 10. So if your house or residence, your parcel of land is within 1 mile of a community, no, I'm sorry. What's that word? Uh, for transportation. Um,
Uh, So it
yeah.
depends on the code of the transportation department or
So
whatever.
if it's within a commutal very highly dense commutal route where the bus keeps going in and out, either
Mm-hmm.
it's buses or train. If you're
Mm-hmm.
within that area,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of the code, a city can opt where a single family house parcel land can come up to about 10 units.
That's like that. That's like, how do you know that? Like, do they have like it's like a winning a lottery there?
Oh no, there's a many. So if you see a bus, if your
Uh-huh.
house is within a bus route,
Uh-huh.
you automatically can tell that your house is within that regulation where you can, despite the code or the zoning, you can
Mm-hmm.
build up to 10 units on your parcel of land.
But usually people already built some, right?
Oh yeah,
And
yeah, they're already doing it. Obviously there's a lot of kickback. A lot of people who don't like their neighborhoods to be so dense,
yeah,
especially in California or San Diego. It's hard to find street parking.
I see. Oh,
Yeah,
and
and
then they like
and they
move neighborhood to somewhere that no bus line.
well, yeah, but I mean, it's hard enough just to move out of San Diego. The inventory here is so low that you chancing to move means you have a chance that you're not gonna find a place.
Yeah. I have a friend who's a broker there. She's actually my partner in my multifamily business. And she's a broker in San Diego for 15 years. And she say that like the price keep going up, so her buyers are nervous because they want to find something to buy, and even with the interest rate, the price still going up like crazy.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean,
Good for you.
uh, what was that?
That is good for you, Phil.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, that's why I was trying to get into the commercial real estate space. But I'm kind of hitting a crossroad, and I think I just made it even harder for me to acquire commercial real estate. Commercial real estate being 5 units and above.
Mm-hmm.
The reason being is I got really into asset protection and structuring a living trust or a trust in order to protect my assets. But um, the byproduct or the unintentional consequence of that is I'm not
Mm-hmm.
able to pull capital or liquidate my assets
Mm-hmm.
to pursue commercial real estate. So um, I have studied a little bit about commercial real estate through like YouTubes, and I go through these meetups and I meet people. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I don't I don't have much liquid asset to contribute to the expenditures to the movement to get into commercial real estate, but I know that part of the team is an asset manager,
Mm-hmm.
and that's kind of where I thought I'll hopefully find someone who's willing to take me in, not only to learn and hopefully maybe contribute a little bit to it, but basically asset manager. I mean, I'm pretty versed in ensuring to get market rents. Uh, like I mentioned about my fourplex, um, the rents were actually below market. So over the years, I had tried to catch up to market
Mm-hmm.
rents, and because of that, I was able to increase the value of my property, even though it's not seen as a commercial real estate. But if someone were to look at it as an investment to see if the capital expenditures or the capitalization rate makes sense,
Mm-hmm.
they'll actually pay me more than what the assessed value would be.
Yeah, for sure. So, there's different ways to get into commercial real estate, and if you want to check more about that, like I can share my journey of how I get into commercial real estate right now. Now I just focus on commercial. I still have residential. I still have 10 properties and a bunch of tenants to take care of, but like all of my effort now is focused on commercial real estate because I realized that nobody told me before, but like being a passive investor in commercial real estate almost kind of like equal to me working on my residential. And I don't have to do anything in commercial real estate. Why I have to do a lot of work in single family houses rental and
Right.
being active, like really you can, go out there, partner up with people and buy deals that is 100 units, 150, 200 units. Then if you keep doing that, you just earn millions of dollars a year. I don't say it's easy, but I don't see that anyone get there like regret that they doing it, or going back to residential. So that's why I'm heading toward that way. Um, and I did a few deals, like smaller deal, but hoping that it's just building up over the years, and one day I'll be I'll be earning $1 million a year. That's the goal. And
Right. So,
that's totally possible, you know.
right. So majority of your deals are like, I mean, especially if you're getting into commercial real estate, I mean, sometimes it's inevitable. Syndications mostly.
Yeah, bigger it is, the the more suitable for syndication. If it's small,
Right.
like 10 units, like 20, 30, then you can JV. You can join venture with people, team up. And I saw people doing that and very successful as well. But syndication is meant to be like attack bigger deal. So deal at like 100+ unit level. But Talena and Luis, are you Luis?
Yeah, hi, nice to
You guys
meet
want
you.
to say hi?
Hello, how
Hey.
are
Oh,
you? I
good.
know I'm late.
No, all good,
Good
all good.
morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Talena
enjoyed
coming
last
from
week.
Chicago, right?
Yeah. Well, suburb of Chicago. I'm in Elgin, Illinois. Yes. But
Okay.
yeah, I enjoyed last week. I just wanted to let you know, and I did have a few questions, but I was at work. So I work every other Tuesday.
Hmm.
Yes. So
You couldn't ask
I
question
like
at the time.
I know you had mentioned if you can't ask, you can type it in, but I'm like a hands on because I'm driving the forklift. I'm doing,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I can't. You can't text and drive regardless if it's inside or outside.
Yeah, but I appreciate the hustle to just join and be here. Like I know Phil is driving now and he's still in our call. That's awesome. I appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah. I was trying to get a feel about what the subject is about today because I just jumped on at the last minute. I don't like to say I'm coming ahead of time and then don't be able to show up. So if I know I'm free, then I know that you know, I come on and jump in, and a lot of times it may be a little late.
That's fine. So we're just networking today. So we're just talking to Phil a little bit and about his properties there and share the tenants management things with him. So we're just networking today. So that's why I asked. Maybe you guys go around and introduce yourself. Maybe we go with the newest member here, Luis.
Yeah, for sure. Nice to meet you, everybody.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet
Actually,
you.
I'm a digital nomad right now. I'm traveling in Colombia and I'm working meanwhile. Uh, my business is I'm doing EMD funding and double closing funding, transactional lending.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is what I'm doing.
Are you Pace Mobi's student? I think he's frozen. But transactional funding and that is like Pace Mobi thing that he's teaching, like a funding earnest money deposit for wholesalers and double closing, right?
Oh, okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. You were frozen for a little bit.
Yeah, I can hear you now. I don't know, it's got cut. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm Pace a student. I'm Pace a student.
Oh, Pace student. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, I see. Great. How is it working for you?
Actually, I'm just getting started. I'm just getting started now. Like I'm started just like a few weeks ago,
Hmm. What
trying to
interests you
network.
in getting into real estate and this business?
I think that it's the potential in real estate is really big. You can do a lot of things, and really the sky is the limit. So my friend sent me some videos on YouTube of Pace Morby. I saw how he buying deals with seller finance and with sub two, and he created finance that you don't put money at all.
Mm-hmm.
And it was very interesting for me to see it, and I decided that I really want to do it as well. So first thing that I did is to buy schools and to be a student. And right now I'm starting off as a lender, but in the future I will also want to buy properties with the creating
Stuff too.
finance.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. That's a good goal.
Well,
Yeah, I know a
I
little.
I was gonna say I'm familiar with Pace
Pace
Mosby.
Moby. Yeah.
Yeah, I have his book. What is it? It's right here on my bookshelf. Wealth Without Cash.
Really?
Yeah, and
Wealth
I got
without
a
cash.
good part of that. Yeah,
Did you apply
yeah.
it to buy your property, Talena?
I haven't gotten. I listened to all the videos that they sent because they sent you know, if you enrolled in time, they sent you, you know, it was like a video program that he sent you through and step by step and stuff like that, and he introduced you to people that you know, because he talked about like the title companies, getting familiar with them, and that way he had an office like in the title companies, and he can go there and they hook him up with different, you know, people that want to sell their property subject to and sell a finance. So,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
no, what? Yeah, he's a big fan of that. I'm not
Yeah.
too familiar with that right now, and so when I bought my property, I just did it the ordinary way. I want to get more experience with, because this is my first rental. I want to get more familiar with just doing this before I move on to something that's unknown.
Yeah.
You know, I don't like doing stuff that's unknown. You know, I'll try to like test the waters, but this is going well for me. So right now, so I'm on, because I really do interested in turnkey properties.
Yeah.
So, you know, maybe a little, you know, painting or something like that. But, you know, yeah, but I was really interested in learning how to do the Pace Morby method. But right now, it's not,
It's
you know.
yeah.
Yeah, because I don't want to jump out and do something, and because they also send me emails because I want to join, like you know how they try to get investors to get those great big units and stuff like
yeah. They have a multi-family fund.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same thing Grant Cardone does.
Rent Cardone also. Yeah, and you can invest like 5K, 10K in it, right?
Yeah, but with Pace Morby, he has his fund is $1,000, the lowest
How much is
investment.
the lowest?
1,000.
Oh, 1,000. Oh, that's
Yeah, but
awesome. Yeah.
from my studies that I've been listening to, because I listen to different real estate podcasts and everything, I learned that when people start asking, what do you call us when you don't have a lot of money? They got names for both titles, but the people that don't really have a lot of money, then when they start asking us, it meaning that couldn't get enough people that have millions of dollars to invest. So then that's when they open it up to people who have, you
That
know,
means
like,
that the deal is not that great. Is it what it is?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
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 So, and
Well,
once they did that, that's why I did not invest.
That's really smart, Talena. That's like no free lunch
Yeah,
principle.
credited and unaccredited, right?
Yeah.
Credited
Well,
and unaccredited. Okay.
yeah. Also, yeah, I think it's an opportunity, but I think with would like depend on uh our position. I think it's always better to really save our cash and make more cash and eventually roll into a bigger chunk of cash and then go out there and like do it with your cash and have
Mm-hmm.
like really well understanding of what you put this cash into, because then you'll be able to learn and you'll be able to see all the red flags and nobody can take it away from you. So the
Right.
again, the principle is not losing money, right? So that's why,
Exactly.
yeah. But I think Pace like has an awesome media company, and thanks to that, like real estate become popular on YouTube
Right.
everywhere, and people, start to learn about real estate thanks to Pace. And I think he tried to teach people like having no money and start to try to make some money in real estate by lending and all of that. Um, and it makes sense. It makes sense. I just don't see the way to scale there. And I have a friend also like join Pace and try to do transactional funding like Louis here. Um, but the problem is always hard to find enough deal. And each deal you just can lend out like $5,000. Uh, and then in a few weeks you get that back or whatever. It doesn't scale basically. If you want to make a few $100 or a few $1,000 here and there, yes, you can. But if you want to make $1 million, it's not the method for you. And I rather spend my time to figure out how to make $1 million than
That's what I
yeah.
want to do. I'm trying to figure out how can I make millions of dollars and scale on my own. I feel like I'm moving really slow sometimes because listening to these podcasts and like bigger podcasts and how people, oh, I acquired that 100 doors in 6 months. It kind of work on
It's
your
out there.
mental.
Yeah. Yeah.
It works on my mental a little bit, and I be like, you know what? I just gotta stop listening to that for a while because I know what I'm doing is limited because like I said, I think I mentioned this before. I use my tenant money to rehab the other unit. So, it's a slow process. And
It's a
when you're
slow
listening
process.
to, yeah, and when you're listening to all these other people saying, oh, well, and I'm not a person of debt. So, like I don't have no car note, I don't have no credit cards, I don't, I'm not a person
Mhm.
of debt. I don't believe in debt. So, it's even probably slower for me because they say you can get like hard money lenders and stuff like that, but I just
Yeah, you
haven't went
can.
that route.
Yes,
Yeah,
you can,
but
but it depends, like it's always come with the price. Nothing is
right,
if you borrow
exactly.
money, you have to pay the price for borrowing money. And you have to pay it back. And if you cannot pay it back, you pay by your reputation, which is everything.
Yes. So I'm just I'm playing it safe. Like when I first got in the stock market, I played it safe and got in like some funds that wouldn't like really paying, like a safe fund. But
Yeah,
it,
yeah,
yeah, but now I invest in like once I start studying it, now I invest in ETFs and index funds and stuff like that.
yeah,
It diversify and it ain't just no. I always thought it was like one company. So that's why I got this one building and I'm trying to see my way what's best for me because
yeah.
the whole subject is that Robert Kiyosaki say, the whole plan is not to lose money,
Hmm.
and
That's
that's my
Warren Buffett,
plan.
no?
Right. Yep, that's my plan. So, yep.
Louis, how many deals have you done for transactional funding? I think he's frozen again or something. Louis, Oh, Phil. You raised your hand, Phil.
Yeah.
Sorry. Please say again. Please
I
unmute
wanted to
yourself.
add about no, that's actually a great subject with the Pace Morby,
Mm-hmm.
Talena, you're amazing. Obviously, you've done your homework, and you're obviously this is your hobby, just like me. I love to delve into real estate and everything about real estate. I feel like the more you learn, the more you just have tools in your toolbox. You don't necessarily have to use it, but it's just good
Thank
to
you.
know. Right. And you're absolutely on the right page. Now, my recommendation, right? I'm sorry, I don't know if you know a little bit about me. So I'm here in San Diego. I'm very organic. Everything I've done was basically from what I could do in my own capabilities first, and then from there I grew, right? Every seed starts as a sprout before becoming a plant to becoming a tree. So I
Mm-hmm.
usually tell myself that I need to learn things on my own pace first and then stick to the very basics. Only when you're brilliant at the basics, you're gonna kill it. So I know I cut a little bit of that you mentioned that you like turnkey. My only thing about turnkey is it's very small margins and it's very expensive. However, based on your strategy, the best thing to make cash flow and to build wealth on your current situation is house hacking. Now, it seemed as though you're really into the real estate ecosystem. So like bigger pockets says it a lot. Rob 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 Built and David Green are very big proponents of very starting with house hacking. So how I did it was exactly that. I started house hacking just like where you are at. As soon as I house hacked, you have to learn how to play the paper and documentation game. The reason why I say that is because your wealth and credibility is going to be built based on your tax. Your taxes, along with your credit report, will bring credibility to you to expand to other things. So, because based on your residence, right? Based on your residence and you build from there and you have cash flow, you have to document that. That way your wealth is built based on those numbers alone. When you do that, then you can start moving to one and then moving to another. You use that strategy over and over again until you build so much capital that you can move to other things. I would recommend not really staying into single family. I had to move away from single family and build it to something multifamily. Like, since you've already proven your concept on single family, I would start moving to 2 to 4 units, right? 2 to 4 units are still considered single family residence, and normal rules apply to like if it was a single family residence, right? Once you go there, now you can build 2, 3, or even 4 times faster if you use multifamily, right? Then from there, once you get and you solve problems where you can increase your income, again, play the documentation game where you use now rental income as a form of increased income, you become that much more credible. So now you can move into commercial real estate. Now, I know, I'm sorry,
Can
I'm
I
really bad
interrupt
with
you for a
names.
minute? Would you mind
Yes.
if I interrupt you for a minute? Well, let's get back a minute. I actually owned a condo at first before I found out about this. I did study bigger pockets, and I am living in a multi-family unit. I have 3 apartments, and I live in the basement apartment. So I have a tenant for the first floor, and I had a tenant when I moved in. I inherited a tenant. I got rid of that tenant once I got the tenant for the first floor, because the second floor was already renovated. I just had to maybe put like $2,000-3,000 into it because I wanted a new floor in the kitchen, make it pop a little bit more than it was, and put some screen windows in and just minor stuff. But it was already renovated, the top floor, and I actually have an attic that on the top floor that I can make 2 bedrooms up there. So eventually, I want to turn that into 3 bedroom apartment instead of 1 bedroom, because both of my units are 1 bed. Both of my units are 1 bedroom, 1 bath, and I live in like a studio basement, and everything was freshly done. The guy just got tired of it and put all 23 of his properties on the market at the same time. So I grabbed this one, and yes, I am house hacking, and exactly like you said, bigger pockets. Yeah, that's where I started from. And so I am house hacking. I have one tenant. I use her money to renovate the first floor, and I use my money that I go to work every day to make sure the mortgage is paid, because I don't depend on nobody else's money to make sure my mortgage paid. So I make sure my mortgage paid, all my bills, everything. I got my regular job, and then I got side jobs. So yeah, that's
awesome.
what I'm doing. So,
Yeah.
but like listening to other people say, "Oh, I do this and I scale," it kind of mess up your mentality. Like, "Oh man, am I going too slow or whatever?" You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
I just have to tell myself, I have to go at my pace and my understanding until I get more educated. And I appreciate all the advice that you're giving me, and I want to continue to listen to what you have to say from there.
Right. And so you and I are basically on the same level, and we're actually doing great. Nothing against Pace Morby. I did read that book, Cash Without Wealth, just like you did. As soon as I bought that book, they already had my contact info, and they already started trying to get me into the community. The problem I see with the community, and I love Subject 2. The idea of Subject 2 is the future. However, right, what they don't tell you is getting those deals are close to nearly impossible, right? And I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just letting you know that the deals are so minute and so far in between. Nothing against you, Luis, and I hope you kill it, but you don't have enough information from people who are in that community who's willing to tell you the negatives. So I had to fish that out myself, right? And the negatives is that you're going to be cold calling day in and day out, hours, trying to find someone who's willing to do Subject 2 or seller financing. But the only problem is the people who do that is either one, they call it, I think they call it the 4Ds, right? It's either diamonds,
Yeah.
diapers, divorce, or death.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. And nothing against, again, Louise, I hope you killed it. But I went into the Pace Morby. I studied it just like everyone else here did, just like Talela. And you're absolutely right. And Sophie actually made a great point too. I need my capital to do a little bit more right now. So like
Right.
for me and Talela, right, you and I still have room to grow because we can max out at 10 properties before our name is basically tied up. Like we max out at 10 properties, right? Government says you only can have 10, right? And legislation is about to bring, right, and it's going to bring it down even more. So you and I, the best return I see so far, because real estate is my hobby. I love to think about it, wake up to it. I like to think numbers. That kind of keeps me busy in my head, right? So if you and I focus on lowering the inefficiencies, lowering expenditures, you and I have a better way of getting cash flow than any other type of real estate niche, right? And I see
Okay.
why Bigger Pockets really adamant about house hacking, because the numbers and the cash flow is just way more right
Yeah.
now. Right.
Yes.
And then once you built yourself into um and that's why I'm looking forward, right? I'm looking forward into the future. Once I tap out, you and I tap out, eventually we're gonna want to retire, right? You know, you don't want to manage it
Exactly.
forever.
Right.
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 So that's why I'm educating myself now into
Yes.
commercial real estate and seeing if someone's willing to take me, because I'm not saying zero value, but my value is, you know, you and I have house hacked. We've dealt with tenants. We've dealt with capital expenditures, balancing the books, trying to increase our income, right? That's what our focus is in every single day. I'm hoping that someone in the commercial real estate will eventually take us and say, you know what, here's commercial real estate. See if this is your nest egg. But there is one thing that I have not found, and I'm hoping Sophie can give me more insight on this. The problem I see with commercial real estate is commercial lending. Now, commercial lending is no secret. It's about to crash. Or if it's not, it's crashing right now. The problem is because interest rates are so high and commercial real estate offices and so far has now affected commercial residents, right? So I see commercial real estate as basically only a short plan, right? Because commercial lending is 3, 5, 7, or 10 years. From there, it balloons. There's a balloon payment done, right? So that's why I say for Telena, I'm sorry, to stick with what you have now. That foundation is our retirement. That one has no time limit. Commercial real estate does, right?
Yes.
So if we keep that in our back pocket and we build that as our base, then we can start moving into, you know, bigger and better things. But um,
Yeah.
to me,
I
since being organic,
Yeah, totally. You guys are on the right track. I think like where you are
Thank you.
right now and what you did is the best you can do. And again, it's just about, basically having a business. And in you feel right now, Talena, you guys have a business. And the
Yes.
more cash you make out of that business, either cash flow or appreciation of the asset because you taking care of it, because you do value add construction, create more rooms out of the attic, all of that gonna create you cash in the future. And
Yes.
having that cash and invest is the key. So
Yes.
back to that basic, like if we don't have a rental business like a generating cash, or somebody have a W-2 that generate a lot of cash, right? They can always invest that and retire with that. So invest the right way. And commercial real estate, again, feel like there's a lot of people from residential and go to commercial. All of us have similar experience. So I'm not discourage you as like going into an asset management role. Yes, you can do it. But like you have to add more value in terms that like you have to find the deal or you have the money or find the money. So at the end of the day, a deal is about money and the deal itself, right? So you have a deal that working, you underwrite it, the numbers all good, everything all good. Then you bring in the money in to close on the deal and improve that asset and improve the community that you acquiring and then sell it. So just deal and money and asset management is execution, right? Like the oversee the construction, oversee the improvement of the tenants and the community itself is very important, but a lot of us can do it. A lot of us can do it, right? So it's all about partner up with the right people So always, from your real estate business right now, always try to find more way to make cash out of it. More cash flow on your rental property, more appreciation on your property. The way you can generate cash is important, because once you go into a deal, it's just two things: deal and money, deal and cash. That's it. And
No, yeah,
being,
I absolutely
yeah,
agree. And one thing I would also recommend to Talena, right? So since I'm in San Diego, super hard to buy my next deal, and that's why I always go to meetups and find people who have cash, just like Sophie said, is trying to find make those connections, right? In the case I needed to raise capital, maybe I
yeah,
find someone just as organic as me who wants to try to get
exactly.
into bigger things, right? But Talena, if you like the next thing, since I'm kind of stuck, I try to shore up my defenses. Okay, just recently, David Green had already mentioned that he actually lost nearly all 50 of his residential homes, all due to a scam.
Oh
So,
wow.
What? Oh
yeah,
my
yeah,
God.
he just came out with it about 3 weeks ago. And it's kind of big now. In like a week, he's only finally coming out with it because he's been battling it for the last, I think he said a year and a half. Right. So since now I'm kind of back from deals and finding out my next move, I started to shore up my defenses. And what I mean by defenses is, have you looked into asset protection and how to structure your holdings so then when someone tries to get into it, it minimizes the catastrophic fall of everything that you built?
Well, no, I haven't got to that part. The only thing I've done to protect myself is, well, I only have this one property. It's been a year since February 15th, and I have put it in a trust. So I mean, basically, that's the only thing that I've done. And I have my one maintenance guy, and I just don't. As far as partnerships and stuff like that, when I first partnered, uh, I reached out to somebody on Meetup, and before I left my condo, this was years ago, and I invested $3,000 with him, and he got me. He gave me keys to the property. We were going over there, fixing it up and everything, and then eventually he stopped showing up, and so my $3,000 was gone. Because the whole deal was, because he had bought a lot of properties in Chicago, and so he say, I don't even know, because I mean, I didn't ask for no paperwork or anything like that, but I know we were working on them. We were showing up every day and everything. Eventually, he disappeared, and then so I'm like, okay, I'm showing up and nobody's coming, and I'm calling. He stopped answering my calls and everything. So that right there, that was my scam. So I said, as long as I do everything by the book right now, and just have it on my name, and my plan is to just house hack from house to house. That way, I know if I'm dealing with regular lenders and stuff like that, then I know everything is legit. Because I'm not sure how to get a partner, you know what I'm saying? And I just don't trust people because that was my first experience. So that's why I think my process would probably go a little slower, because I'm not gonna, you know, I'm not a computer person and paperwork person and all that. I just want to do my thing right now, until I learn more and probably meet somebody I feel I can trust. I'm just gonna do it the way I'm doing it. If it's a slow process, then I have to accept that, But I generate enough money. I want to generate enough money on my own, where like once I
That's
get
self,
the
about right.
upstairs done, then I can probably refinance and get my money that way and move it to the next one before I move from here. Maybe open up a HELOC, and even if I don't use it, I know it'll be open where I have access to it, and then do another multifamily and live in it, house hack, and that was my plan until I learn something else or come across something else I feel comfortable with.
So Phil, what did you do for your asset protection?
Oh yes. So I was gonna say is what I did in Helena had mentioned it into a trust. Hopefully it's Wyoming or Delaware. I don't know if you made a Wyoming or Delaware trust, and the reason why I say that is anonymity. Sorry, it's a very weird word for me, but a way to become anonymous. So then you take your name away from most public files. That way, when someone's trying to come at you, they can't really they can't really find out how much you're worth or what you own. So what I've done is I looked up asset protection lawyers here in the country. I was going to say is that I can recommend one of the best ones that I've seen so far. I tried to stay local, but lawyers here in California are terrible, right? They say that there's more lawyers here in California than any single country, right? So it tells you how litigious our country and more so California can be, right? And all I need is a slip, a fall, or a bad tenant who wants to accuse me of something, and everything can come down crashing, right? So, like I mentioned, I went into defense. I started getting into asset protection. I was going to say is that I do know one of the best ones in the country, and this is where I went out of state. It's actually in Nevada. It's called Anderson. I could send you guys a link if you guys want me to.
Anderson Tax Advisors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're actually very amazing. I don't know if you ever signed up with them, but well worth the money, right? So what they're already talking about is building a trust in Wyoming. That way, Wyoming is really the one of the only few states left that has those protections for you in the case that, something bad happens and stuff like that.
Because now you
Even
can
more,
you have to file your name with every single LLC you have.
yes,
With
the
FINRA.
Transparency Act. Yes, you're
Yeah.
absolutely right. But because of the Transparency Act, and you have to put your name in there, um, even makes it that much more harder. However, Anderson already comes up with a strategy where you build a trust in Wyoming or Delaware, and because they're one of the few states that still has anonymity, your name is there, but it's under a different alias, meaning your LLC. Your LLC becomes your alias, and you can name your LLC whatever you want. So it kind of already gives you those protections with still being compliant to today's regulations and today's laws. So that's where I'm at right now, because deals are, again, far in between. And, all you have to do is just continue to be sharpened, meet people. You never know when networks become very crucial, and ideas. And hopefully I brought some value in today, is to bring those to light. Things that, us organic real estate investors, especially, thank you, Sophie, for bringing these up, right? These meetups. So some of these organic people, and hopefully we can help each other out, right? Because we're all came from humble beginnings. I mean, I didn't have a silver spoon in my mouth, right? But again, like what a lot of people mention, more millionaires are made through real estate than any other asset class, right? And Robert Kiyosaki will tell you exactly that. The rich work for assets, not money, right? So you,
Mhm.
it's just a
Exactly.
whole mindset. Yep, it's a whole different mindset, and to keep us together and sharp and on task, and to hopefully encourage you to learn that you're actually on the right path.
Thank you.
I believe David Green said it best, right? There's nothing sexy about, residential or rentals and stuff like that. No one wants to be the slow but sure grower because it's boring, right? However,
Mm-hmm. Right.
once you built that foundation, yeah, maybe, you and I will have that foundation where, we don't have to worry because we've already armed ourselves with asset protection, with knowledge on how to get those pillars of wealth, right? David Green talks about it, how to take advantage of different ways to make money out of one real estate. Once we
Right.
master that, right? Once we master that, sky's the limit. I think Louis said it the best. Sky's the limit. Yes, absolutely. Sky's the limit. But first, build those defenses and hold what you've worked for.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's
But
awesome.
and yeah, cause my thing is I purchased this place in my own name, and like I said, I do have room for expansion because the upstairs apartment, which I have it closed off, has an attic with it's big, and I can at least put 2 bedrooms and like maybe a sitting area up there. I have a garage that does not have a garage door on it, and I could probably rent that out to because it's like one small driveway. Only my car can get in there. So all the other tenants have street parking, and I have not started my LLC yet. And but the thing about it is, since I have this place in my name in a trust, I also heard that my next one should be in an LLC, because if I try to move this one to like a place like Wyoming or Delaware and move it, then they can be able to trace it because it was originally in my name, but I'm not sure about that part.
Well,
But
those are
yeah,
probably for
I,
attorney to answer you
yeah,
because
because I was
we really
thinking
don't
because
know.
I already have this one in my name, they were saying like if I open up a LLC in Wyoming or the places where they can't find you under LLC, and I move it that way they can trace it. So the next
Don't
one,
worry. You worry too much. It's okay. So right now, the first defense you're gonna have if you are having a rental property is umbrella insurance. Okay, so each of your property have a liability insurance, but on top of
mhm,
that, you should have an umbrella insurance that gonna cover whatever happened that property insurance doesn't cover. So for example, so if you have a rental property, you should have a proper rental insurance policy for the house. And
so I got
on
what I have is I have the insurance that's required by FHA, and I also have Countryside on my
yeah,
own that I pay.
yeah. So because you live there, you might not have the policy for rental, but look into liability insurance because
Mhm,
that is what people gonna tap on when they sue you. So when they sue
mhm,
you because they own your property and try to sue the trust, then they're
mhm.
gonna get first defense is the insurance of the property. So like if they crash the car into you and they sue you, the first defense will be the insurance of the car. Okay, I got sued before. I know that. Like they sued me for $1 million through our car because we got into an accident. And I was so scared receiving that sue. I thought like one of my tenants sue us, but it's not. It's a car that we rolling into because of ice, whatever. But anyway, that insurance is the first defense, and then whatever. For example, they sue me for $1 million, right? But my car insurance just gonna cover 200,000. then who gonna cover that 800,000? So that
Right.
would be for the umbrella. That's why people buy umbrella. Same if
Mhm.
at one property, one of your tenants sue you, and it's more than the liability insurance can cover. It's gonna flow into the umbrella. So that is your
Mhm.
second line of defense when you are not that big yet, right? So when you
Okay.
have umbrella, you can cover some of that if really you liable for that. But
Okay.
and then we talk about LC and then all of that. Like I think David Green incident, probably somebody really intentionally know that he has a high net worth and really go after him and really like strategize the way to get him down. So it's one of the rare thing, but it happened. It's really bad. But hopefully small people like us not get that kind of attack yet, can still prepare ourselves by umbrella insurance, and then hopefully like another defense like a series LLC or something to defend ourselves, and that all put into a trust or something, just like Phil did. Uh, Phil, how much
All right.
you pay Anderson?
All right. So, sorry, I didn't mean to rewind back, but to comment from Helena's to yours, right? So, first, the easiest one, right? You're absolutely right. Umbrella policy is great, right? That's basically where you start off. Uh, the only thing is, depending on how much you assess your value of your property, right? You want to think about it as a gross rather than net, right? Let's say I net $1 million worth. However, my property is basically 3 million, right? So based on that, you could, depending on how high your umbrella policy is. Normally it's, I think 3 million to 5 million is like cap for umbrella policy. From there, umbrella policy will not cover you, right? So the
Okay.
idea is to keep it underneath that amount. So Talena, I don't know how much your net worth or your property is right now, but uh to rewind on your comment, I don't know who you talked to, but they're I'm not saying they're wrong, but I believe is that they're not versed in other strategies is what I'm trying to say. What they
Mhm.
kind of missed was that what I would, how do I say this? How do I encourage you is I would switch your way of thinking instead of you being the owner right now, right? You're labeled the owner, your name's on the deed, you're searchable, and you can be researched on how much you're worth. Now, like what Sophie's saying is right now your umbrella policy, because you have basically one resident, and hopefully your umbrella policy can cover everything in the case that something bad happens, a litigation comes up, right? They're gonna search your name. The idea is that when you make an LLC, I'm sorry, what state are you in?
Illinois.
Illinois, is
Elgin.
it?
I'm in Kane
Right. So
County though. I'm in Cook County.
I'm actually going to research that because I'm actually very interested. Illinois, so it's not one of those that have protections, right? Like I mentioned, Wyoming and Delaware are the only ones that have that type of anonymous protection. So
Right.
what it is, you're going to build an LLC in Illinois, and what Anderson's strategy is that you're going to transfer your deed from your name to your LLC. Now, I already see what you're gonna ask me, right? About the due on sale clause and does my mortgage still cover and so on and so forth. Absolutely. So just as long you're still majority owner of that LLC and that LLC owns your property, echo facto, you're still the owner, right? However, you shifted the thought from you being an owner to you now being a renter. If you read or you Ever dealt with the some of the benefits of being your own renter? It's like
Mm-hmm.
me renting from myself, tax benefits, write-offs, right?
Okay.
Galore, right? So when you take that strategy and you now shifted that you're now a renter and you don't own anything. When anyone talks to you, you don't own real estate. Uh, they'll Anderson will kind of coach you, says, hey, make sure you change your language, right? To my
Okay.
tenant, I need to now tell them I'm no longer the landlord. I'm your management. The landlord had retained me as management. So that's kind of why you see me with my clothes is I do self-management, right? I manage my own properties, but I had to change my language. That way, not even my tenants know now that I'm the landlord, right? So
You're
Yeah.
what,
the tenant guy. You're the
right?
I
So
maintenance
started
guy.
out. I started out that way, but well, when I first bought the property, the people upstairs was paying cash. We had a deal. They needed a place to stay, so that worked out fine. And then once I got my second floor unit ready, then I hired a property manager. She, because I'm having my first floor renovated and she's not included on the deal, she thought she should be able to be included on the deal, which I'm like, why would I have you bring somebody else in and I have a maintenance guy that's already familiar with my building that created this basement apartment that is fabulous that I live in? Why would I have you bring in some outsiders that I know I can't afford? You know, if I can only afford like $4,000 to start, okay, my maintenance guy he do $4,000 worth of work, and then I just add into it. Little by little. So we have an understanding, and he does a great job. And so she ended up quitting. So this is my first month having to actually since October of last year that I have to actually be my own property manager.
no, I
So
highly encourage you. It's actually not as hard as you think. Um,
no, it's not.
right, and all
Yeah.
Cause
it
I
is
told my tenant
bookkeeping.
don't knock on my door. Do not knock
Well,
on my door.
the best thing is that's all, that's it, yes, knock on my door. However, since you're the management now, you can basically build your own policies and you build your own operating agreements, right? Say, hey, the next time you have an issue, instead of knocking to my door, please send me a text message. That way, you can kind of hone in on the situation, gives you time, you don't have to react or anything like that at the moment while they're knocking on your door. And because you mentioned that
Mm,
you had a great handyman, all your issues really goes to your handyman, right?
exactly.
Sounds like
Yeah.
sounds like you have a good and trusty, right? So, the what I would say, since you already took over as management, have you heard of Stessa?
That's
Yeah, let me write that in the chat here. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I'm still trying to get
Stessa.com.
used to this. Yep, Stessa.
can you
Right,
give me the give I'm sorry. Can you give me the information to the Anderson and the Stefan?
Yeah, I think you guys need
Okay,
to
I see.
connect.
yeah, absolutely. I
Yeah,
already know that, it's eventually
AndersonAdvisor.com.
going to come up, so I put that hyperlink on there. But yeah, so Stessa, all you have to do is now do your own bookkeeping. And trust me, once you get into Anderson, they have those portals just like, Pace Morby, Grant Cardone. I've talked to all of them, by the way. Chris Crone, I've talked to all their syndications and all their organizations already. None of them are as special or anything different really from each other. They all offer videos. I mean, Bigger Pockets offer videos exactly the same, right? The only difference is the person who's talking, right? So, once you get into Anderson, part of your membership there not only is a legal team and a tax team that Sophie mentioned, right? They have tax team. they're very smart because what they
Okay.
did is they combined a law firm with a CPA who's actually known in the YouTube verse as Toby Mathis, right? Both of them have
Yeah,
built
I
this
know Toby
firm.
Matt. Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
So they built
yeah.
this firm as a one-stop shop. Okay, so not only do they offer you your bookkeeping, they'll review all your legal documents, they'll teach you how to do your own bookkeeping and how to maximize a business type of mindset when it comes to, because you now own your own books when you use Tessa, everything now becomes a write-off. From your internet to your cell
Okay,
phone to now your home office, you now rent yourself from yourself, you charge yourself rent, and everything becomes a business expense. That way, your rental income becomes net zero. When you become net zero, you become protective from any additional taxes. Sorry, I didn't want to get into too much into it. I don't know how much time we have left, but
Yeah. So
hopefully I
yeah.
at least introduced some good topics today, and hopefully, Sophie, thank you so much for this meetup.
Yeah.
Definitely
yes,
don't
Thank you
want.
thank you.
guys. Thank you guys. Just next week, I will be in a conference at this time, so we're gonna have to do it the week after. But thank you for joining today, and Talana, I hope you get some good advice from Phil. I think the best mentor that you can have is someone just a few steps uh ahead of you, because
Yes,
once they too further away, they don't remember anymore, you know. So this is the best that Phil can, hopefully information that Phil gave you would be really helpful for you. And I hope everybody had a good time networking today, and I'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
All right. Good luck,
okay.
Telena.
Thank you. I put my email address in the comments. So yeah, if you want to reach
Okay.
out to me, give me any additional information, I really would appreciate it. So
Yeah, sure
Okay,
let's
you
thing.
can
provoke.
save Phil number is right there. You can see
Oh,
he put it
Yeah,
in there. You can see it, Talenta.
wait a
yeah.
minute.
Just text
Oh,
me
okay.
anytime.
Okay, cool. All right, I'm gonna take a screenshot.
All right, bye
All
All
guys.
right.
right. Thanks,
All
Sophie.
right, thank
Good
you.
day. Good day.
All right, thanks.